What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Mr. Place. And today, I'm going to be telling you guys everything I want to see in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Roll the intro. Okay, guys, now Breath of the Wild was literally my favorite game of all time. Now, although I don't think Part 2 will take the spot from the original, I do think this game will have a lot of potential and be a giant game, similar to Breath of the Wild. Now, the first thing I want in Breath of the Wild 2 is the whole idea of upgrading weapons. Now, I think this should be done with rupees, but the reason why I chose this is the only time in Breath of the Wild you could get a weapon over 100 is just if you got lucky killing a Lionel that had a really great weapon or finding a great weapon in Hyrule Castle, like one of the royal weapons, even though those weapons are actually terrible because of their durability. I just think there should be a way to upgrade weapons. Now, I liked what they did with Age of Calamity, but I didn't like the idea of fusing weapons because then you would not have an inventory with all maxed out weapons. It just wasn't possible. Now, Nintendo, if you're watching this video and applied this to the game, I think there would be one mistake that they would make, which is I think they make it too easy to get such an OP inventory. So Nintendo, make sure it is really hard to get like insane weapons, but make it like possible to get like an insane weapon. Okay, guys, now the second thing I want, and I've said this before, is a much harder game. I mean, I know there are people out there who can beat the game in 30 minutes, and no matter what, that will always be true. There are always going to be some crack speedrunners, but stuff like Ganon, he should be a lot harder. Or whoever the final bad guy or boss is, I think it's going to be like Ganondorf or something in Part 2. But, like, if it was anything like the original and it was still Ganon, I would definitely want him to be harder. Now, I want him to have a lot more health as well, because like I feel like with a good weapon, even like a Master Sword, you can beat him pretty easily. And also, unless you have some insane armor, like those people who like beat him with 3 hearts and stuff, like I feel like if you are gonna beat Ganon, you cannot like take a hit if you only have 3 hearts. Like he will one tap you unless you have a lot of hearts and really good armor. Like I just think that should be the case because he was so easy in Breath of the Wild. And now if you really think about it, like Rainbow Goblins were way too hard and Ganon and Lionel's were way too easy. Like I could beat a Lionel really, really easily. But again, when you just start the game, like a red Botw takes like a little while to beat. I mean, obviously you get better and stuff, but like when you're fighting a silver Bokoblin, just compare it to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity versus Breath of the Wild. Like in Age of Calamity, with one hit with any of these weapons, it like takes away half their health, but that's just not the case in Breath of the Wild. So I think that's something that Nintendo really has to touch up on. Now, the next thing I want to see in Breath of the Wild 2 is to make sure it is open world. Now, if you don't know what open world is, it means you can walk around, go anywhere at any time, and just explore and that kind of thing. For example, in Breath of the Wild, you can climb anywhere, go anywhere at any time. But in Age of Calamity, you have to do the quest that like it directs you to do, at least in the story mode. But like you have to select a quest. You can't just walk around Hyrule. So I really think you should do that. I know it was in Breath of the Wild, but I hope they don't take like the Age of Calamity way with this, even though I love Age of Calamity, don't get me wrong. But I really want Breath of the Wild 2 to be a Breath of the Wild game, not an Age of Calamity. Now, the next thing I want in Breath of the Wild 2 is Botw gameplay, not like Age of Calamity. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look at this gameplay from Botw and then look at this gameplay from Age of Calamity. So as you can tell, they're just completely different gameplays with like the whole way you shoot bows, the inventory works, like everything like that. It's so different. You can like the way you can equip weapons, this all your the Sheikah runes, everything's so different in Breath of the Wild compared to Age of Calamity. Now that's because Age of Calamity is a Hyrule Warriors game, and Breath of the Wild is a Breath of the Wild game, which is just different from Hyrule Warriors. So I just think Breath of the Wild 2, definitely stick to the Breath of the Wild thing. That's what I would want, and I know a lot of people would want that. Now, the next thing I want to see, guys, and this might be the thing I want the most, is online multiplayer. And I'm not talking about with randoms, but I'm talking about, like, with a friend. Like, you guys could, like, friend each other on the game, and then, like, you could play together in, like, a sort of a Minecraft format, not like an Age of Calamity with a split screen, because it just felt a little tight and weird, and, like, it wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, I liked it. I definitely would keep it in there. But I want, like, an online mode, but, like, with a friend, not with people who you don't know. With, like, a friend, so you guys can play together. Sort of like a Link and Zelda thing. Like, one person can be Link, one person can be Zelda. Now, I don't really care if they add, like, Urbosa as a playable character. And, like, I know they died, but, like, any other playable characters, like Hestu or something like they did in Age of Calamity. I don't really care for that. Like, I get how Age of Calamity was cool, like, with all the characters, but I didn't care for it, like, that much. Like, obviously it was cool, but I still use Link all the time. So, I get, like, so for the online mode that I'm talking about, like, I want, like, a Link Zelda thing, but then it's, like, only Link and Zelda. Though I wouldn't mind if they had more characters, though I don't think that would really be more of, like, a Breath of the Wild game, if you know what I mean. Now, if you still don't understand what I'm talking about, I want it to be like Mario Kart Home Circuit, but online more. Because, like, in it, you need, like, 2 Nintendo Switches, and then you need 2 Mario Kart Home Circuits, but you could still play like that, but it would be 2 separate screens, so it's not a split screen like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So that's just what I want, if you're still a little confused. Well, thanks for watching this video, guys, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like down below. Also, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, because we upload 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. But until next time, peace!